Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning,
Someone
ma'am.
is looking different today. New specs, Amal? Yes. What happened to your eyes? So attending so many online classes and
No, ma'am,
fine.
anti-glare glass.
Okay, anti-glare, no problem. Okay, so what did we learn in the last class?
Declarative and non-declarative.
Declarative and non-declarative.
Semantic,
They are the types of what memory?
long-term.
Long-term memory. Okay. The main divisions are declarative and non-declarative. And in declarative, we had two.
Episodic and
Episodic.
Episodic and
semantic.
semantic. Okay. Then the non-declarative is also known as that is the real name of it. It deals with the skills and procedures. So it is also known as
Procedural.
procedural memory. Okay. Then which memory has emotional content in it? Emotional contents attached to the memories.
Episodic.
Episodic memory, yes, very good. Then semantic deals with what type of information or what type of memories?
General awareness.
General awareness and the GK matters, general knowledge, facts, and all. Then, then what else? So declarative is what type of memory, Raina? Why do you look so shocked?
Long term.
Long-term memory. Okay, declarative. From the name itself, you can understand what type of memory belongs to long-term memories division. Declarative memory. You can declare it in front of others, which means
Ma'am, I was not there. Which you took this question.
okay. So declarative means you can verbally explain it. Okay, and non-declarative, you find it very difficult to explain it in terms of words. Okay, please read up the portion. Amal, give me an example of non-declarative memory or a procedural memory. Hmm. Got the new specs and forgot everything? No. Just try to remember what we studied in the class, the examples. Discuss so many examples that day, no? Procedural memory. It was the other name for non-declarative memory, which you can't explain in words. Only you can show in terms of actions, or you can act it out, or you can do it and show. What is such a memory? For skills and procedures, I already told you. For skills and procedures, you have this memory. So give me any skill or procedure that you do. Hmm?
I'm walking.
Walking. Then Krishma, give me one procedural memory. An example of procedural memory. Are the videos switched off? Ashish, Krishma, and Sana, switch on the videos. No response. Aishwarya, give me an example of procedural memory.
Teaching how to learn a bicycle.
Yeah, how to ride a bicycle. Then Meghna, one example.
Teaching how to dance.
How to dance. Okay. All those memories are procedural memories. Okay. Now, the next portion in the textbook, what is it? Knowledge representation and organization in memory. Okay, that portion you don't have. It's a deleted one. Till very happy, no? Till page number 142. I'm seeing your smile after so many days, actually. 142. Till the first paragraph of page 142, it's deleted. Okay.
Memory and constructive processes there.
Yeah, that is it. That's just an introduction to the upcoming topic that we'll study today. Okay, so earlier from the beginning of this chapter itself, what are we learning? We are learning about the human memory. And initially, we saw different theories in which there were different stores for memories, isn't it? And for any kind of memory, which are the three processes being undergone? For any kind of memory, if it has to be present in a memory system, what all three stages or processes does it undergo?
Sensory, short-term memory, and long-term memory.
They are the stores. They are the stores of memory. Before that, we learned something, no?
Encoding.
Encoding,
Storage, retrieval.
storage, retrieval.
Retrieval.
Okay, encoding means the registering. Storage means after registering, we store it somewhere. And after that, we retrieve when we want to use that information somewhere. Okay, three basic processes. So in all these theories, and in the stage model also, we learn sensory memory, short-term memory, long-term memory. There are also memories stored somewhere. And when we want it to be reproduced or to be retrieved, what happens is we take back this information to put it in use. Okay, that's what happens. So according to all those theoretical concepts, memory was thought to be something related to the reproduction of information that we have already stored. So once the information is stored, then the same information is retrieved. That was considered. I hope you can see the screen. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So something is stored already. Storage happens. Okay? Storage. Let it be storage. Okay. And this information, when the use comes, this information is taken and it is put into our consciousness, where we will retrieve the information. Retrieve or recall the information. Suppose I ask you, what is the capital of India? What is your answer?
New Delhi.
Did I ask the wrong question? What is the capital of India?
New Delhi.
Has it changed recently? No. Okay. So that information is already stored in your long-term memory until it changes, until the capital of India changes. If I ask you the same question after 5 years, you'll give me the same answer, isn't it? Will you say Trivandrum? Okay, I hope not. So what happens is that information is already stored in your memory system. And then now when I asked you, you retrieved that information to your consciousness or awareness. That is your current state of being alert. Understood? So again, I'll explain once more. What happened is you already have so much of information in your storage system, in your memory storage system. And then what happened when a use comes, when you want to use a particular information from your memory storage, what you do is you retrieve that information. You take back that information to your awareness or consciousness or your current state of being alert. Okay, so this process, the process of transferring from the storage to your current state of awareness is called retrieval, that we have already studied in the first class of this chapter, human memory, isn't it? Any doubt in that process? No, okay. So earlier what happened is this memory system or the human memory system, it was considered to be the reproduction or the retrieval of what was stored. Okay, that is, it was considered to be reproductive earlier. In most of the cases, in most of the theories, including our stage model that we learned, that theory or that model also explains that or has a view of memory that it is a reproductive process of reproduction of information takes place in memory. Also, one person named Ebbingus. Okay, Ebbingus. Please take down this name. Ebbingus. We'll discuss about him in the next section, but just note the name. His full name is Hermann Ebbingus. Hermann. Note the spelling. There are too much of double alphabets here. Hermann, Hermann Ebbingus. Ebbinghus. Ebbingus. Hermann Ebbingus. This person and his followers also thought that memory was a reproduction of information. The earlier stored information is then retrieved. So we reproduce which information? We reproduce the information that was earlier stored. Understood? So after encoding, we store it in our memory system. Then when the use comes, we retrieve it or we reproduce that particular information as it is. Only the information which is stored can be reproduced. That is the main concept about the reproductive concept of memory. And later on what happened was a person named Bartlett. Okay. Next what came was constructive view of memory. Earlier it was reproductive view of memory. Later on constructive view of memory came. That was by Bartlett. Bartlett was one among the first to explain this constructive phenomenon of memory, human memory. Okay. Note it down. So two names are important here, Ebbingus and Bartlett. Ebbingus stands for the reproductive view of memory, of human memory, and Bartlett stands for the constructive view of human memory. And according to Bartlett, the memory or the human memory was constructive in nature. What do you mean by the term constructive? Not in psychology, but generally, what do you mean by the term constructive? What do you mean by construction? Your basic understanding of construction.
Something that is made out.
Something that is
Made out.
made out. Okay. I want to hear all your views. Yes, Elvina, what is your view?
Which one? Something is building up.
Yes, something is built up. Okay. Meghna?
Something that we construct.
Something that we construct. Reina?
That we make.
Something that we make. Okay. And Ashish? What is your view about the word constructive or construction?
Thing what we can create.
We can create. Okay. Amal?
I'm building out something.
Building out something. Grishma? Yes. What is your view about construction? What is your understanding about the term constructive or construction?
Building something.
Building something. Okay. So for this making, for building, for constructing, for creating something, we need some raw material, isn't it? Yes. For all these processes, all your understanding about this word is okay. It has different meaning in different contexts. Yes. In terms of architecture, we consider the word construction as construction of what? Buildings, isn't it? Yeah, when we say in terms of memory, it is the construction of information of memory, new memories into the human memory system. So here what happens is always you need a raw material to build on. So just like that, for human memory, for constructive view of human memory, you already need a raw material. Raw material in the form of, for buildings, it might be cement and all those stuffs, the stones, the cement, the wires and all. And for human memory, what is the raw material?
Information.
Information, exactly. This is the information. The raw material would be the information. And based on these informations, we construct on this particular information. In the stage model, we learned, no, when before the sensory system, the sensory memory system, what is coming in that arrow? What do we have?
Information.
Information. Again, information. Information is coming to our memory system. So we have this particular information at hand. We store that information, isn't it? Coming in information. So this is stored in a memory system. Suppose, just a minute. I hope you have noted down the names. Okay. So let me draw a bigger picture. This is our whole memory system. Imagine this enclosed figure is your whole memory system. So we have so many informations here. All these round things are the pieces of information. Imagine they are the pieces of information. So what happens is when you come across a new thing, a new piece of information, then that is added to this particular memory system, isn't it? Yes, and then again it is stored there. So the new information, let me take another color. Okay, so this is the new information and this is put into our storage. So that is also present in our memory system. Okay, now imagine that this particular information is about a new subject of study. Okay, let it be psychology. You didn't learn about psychology earlier, isn't it? Okay, so this piece of information, it is about psychology. And from the day you have started the class, you have got new information about this thing. So from that day onwards, you are getting information into your memory storage, isn't it? But as you go on, as you learn more about this, you will modify this particular information, isn't it? Yes, we have learned psychology in relation with physiology, biology. We learned in the first chapter, we learned that psychology has relation with engineering. We compared with the computer system, with the neuropsychology, the neuro system, the nervous system, all those things. The biology, we learned how it is related to biology, isn't it? So as you add more information, you make several modifications for this particular initial piece of information that you have already stored in your memory, isn't it? Yes. So that is the basic construction process.
Holy water.
Okay. That is the basic construction process that we do for any human memory. That is why human memory is said to be reproductive or constructive.
Constructive.
Constructive. That is, which means there will be one small initial piece of information, and on that, based on, suppose this memory will be related to your biology, and this memory will be related to something you have earlier heard about engineering. Okay, and when you studied about a small piece of information about psychology, you might make more constructions on this piece of information based on biology as well as engineering. Then this small piece of information would finally become this big piece of information. So if you have a small piece of information in your memory, you will modify that, you will construct on it, you will add more and more information to this initial piece of information. Finally, this becomes some modified form of memory. It might require some other processes like thinking, perception, your sensation, all that we have studied in the previous chapters, the sensation, perception, the interpretation, the understanding, all these comes and helps for this memory storage, for this modification process. Understood? So in the constructive view of human memory, what happens is there will be a basic structure. On that basic structure, we add more and more pieces of information. We alter this initial piece of information, and finally that might become another piece of information. So the piece of information that you have already stored in your memory initially was this one. But when you receive it, it's like on the first day of class, I gave you one definition of psychology, isn't it? But after so many classes, after these many months, we have learned a lot more than that definition about psychology, isn't it? Yes. So you have modified that small piece of definition into a vast concept. So on the second day, if somebody comes and asks you what is psychology, you would give that definition, isn't it? And now if somebody comes and asks you what psychology is, you would be able to explain in a very wide manner with broader concepts, because you have constructed on that initial definition, you have added more and more information to that initial definition, and you have made a better understanding of psychology, and you have stored that in your memory system. That is why you can reproduce or retrieve that information when somebody comes and asks you about psychology. Understood? This is the basic constructive viewpoint of memory, human memory system, and that was initially given by Bartlett. Okay, Bartlett was one among the many people who was for the constructive viewpoint of human memory, and who was the one who supported the reproductive view. What was the name? Hermann Ebbinghaus. Okay, Hermann Ebbinghaus. And we'll just read through the textbook. Aishwarya, can you read? The page 142, second paragraph. In essence,
In essence, therefore, Bartlett saw memory as a constructive and not a reproductive process. Using
underline
meaningful
that. Underline that.
Using meaningful materials such as text, folk tales, fables, etc., Bartlett attempted to understand the manner in which content of any specific memory gets affected by a person's knowledge, goals, motivation, preferences, and various other psychological processes.
Yes, which means various other psychological processes influence the initial information that you store in your memory. According to reproductive memory or reproductive viewpoint, what happens? The information that you store can be retrieved. Only that information that you store is retrieved in that way itself. But in constructive view, what happens? You put in some information in the storage, but you modify it. So the thing that you retrieve might be different from what you initially put into the storage system. Okay, come next.
He conducted simple experiments in which reading of such stimulus materials was followed by 15 minutes break, and then the participants of his experiments recalled what they had read. Bartlett used the method of serial reproduction in which the participants of his experiments recalled the memory materials repeatedly at varying time intervals.
Yes.
While engaging in serial reproduction of learned material, his participants committed a wide variety of errors which Bartlett considered useful in understanding the process of memory construction. His participants altered the text to make them more consistent with their knowledge, glossed over the unnecessary details, elaborated the main theme, and transformed the material to look more coherent and rational.
Okay, just a minute. So what happened is he used the method of serial reproduction. I hope you are aware of or familiar with the serial reproduction, isn't it? We have done activities based on that. That is, the person, the experimenter will give a piece of information, and the participant has to recall or retrieve the information in that same order. Okay, like you, for this paragraph that you read, you have the different words in a serial order that makes up a sentence or a paragraph, isn't it? Can you actually recall the whole words? No. but you can get the concept of it, isn't it? That is what happens. You modify that stimulus. The stimulus in front of you was the words arranged in a serial order. That is, in essence, therefore, Bartlett saw memory as a constructive and not a reproductive process. That those words are arranged in a serial order to make a sentence. But what have you understood from that sentence, Meghna?
He didn't see it as a reproductive, but instead as a constructive process.
Yes. So that is different from the stimulus material, isn't it? She has added her own understanding to that, and she has modified the stimulus which was stored in her memory. Understood. And this would be only present in the sensory memory because she just saw it now. If she has rehearsed it, and then I would have asked after maybe 5 hours, then that might be present in the short-term memory. From that, she might have modified and told me. Okay. So in the constructive process, what happens is the information that you store and information that you retrieve might be slightly different. Okay. And according to the reproductive view, the thing that you store is taken as such from the storage and retrieved and recalled or remembered. Understood the difference? Okay. And one important thing to note here is Bartlett used which method? What type of reproduction?
Serial reproduction.
Serial reproduction method. Serial reproductions means the stimulus should be reproduced in terms of words or however the stimulus is given in that particular order itself, in the serial order itself. That is the serial reproduction method. Now, Bartlett's theoretical concepts, they paved the way for something known as schema theory. You don't have to study schema theory. There are different types of schema theories. The singular for schema is schema itself, and the plural is schemata. Okay, note down. So his concepts, he was the one who introduced one term, that is schema. And in Piaget's theory also we have schema. Generally, in Piaget's theory and all, we describe schema as mental frameworks. Mental frameworks. And here we have another definition. Elvina, can you read that? Next paragraph. In order to explain such findings.
In order to explain such findings, Bartlett invoked the term schema, which according to him was an active organization of past reactions and past experiences. Schemas refer to an organization of past experiences and knowledge which influence the way in which incoming information is interpreted, stored, and later retrieved.
Yes, underline that. That is the definition, basic definition. Schemas refer to an organization of past experiences and knowledge which influence the way in which incoming information is interpreted, stored, and later retrieved. Did you understand anything about that? Pressure cooker. From where is the pressure cooker sound? Elvina's home. Okay. It had the correct timing, you know, after a definition that makes no sense. Okay, did you understand anything about that? Just read the information. Sorry, definition. Any idea? Okay, I told you schema means any mental framework. That is, if anybody comes and asks, during our degree days and all, if anybody comes and asks us what is schema, we tell mental frameworks. Okay, and that is the definition that you have to learn. Schema refers to an organization of past experiences and knowledge, which influence the way in which incoming information is interpreted, stored, and later retrieved. Okay. So let me ask you, Aishwarya, when you hear the word teacher, what does that comes to your mind?
Classroom, board, chalk, and a teacher standing in front of the board.
Okay, and now explain to me the features of a teacher.
A book in her hands.
A book in her hand. Okay,
Mirror his.
that's all.
And then facing so many students.
Facing so many students.
And blackboard behind her.
Blackboard behind her. I don't have a blackboard behind me. Okay, then
And notes. That's it.
that's it. Okay, Meghna.
Features or
Yeah, give me any one feature that you think of when you hear the word teacher.
the person who teaches outside the home.
Outside the home. Okay, Ashish. Just imagine all your favorite teachers in your mind and tell me the features of a teacher. Unmute. What is the first thing? Huh? What was it?
Thinking.
Thinking. Okay, Raina.
Ma'am, features, right?
Yeah, features.
Um,
Thinking.
not thinking, like caring,
Caring.
sometimes strict,
Sometimes strict. Okay.
then
That's all.
helping
Helping.
students,
Yes, helping students. That's all. Okay. Grishma, if I was supposed to ask you to draw a teacher, what all will be included in the picture, in the drawing?
When you say teacher, I think of female teachers.
Female teachers, yes. Then?
I think of teachers who have taught me.
Hmm. How would she look? You told about female teacher, so how would she look? Who was good at drawing? Sana is here? Okay.
If I'm drawing, I'll think about other drawings of teachers that I've seen. Usually, teachers are drawn in a
Okay.
sari with a scale in
Sari.
their hand.
Yes, scale in her hand. Actually, I
Like
told a book in her hand, so we'll add scale, book.
and spectacles and a bun.
Spectacles, yes, a bun. Thank God I have a bun at least. No sari. Then,
Usually when we draw elderly.
okay, yes. So you told me about the blackboard, chalk, the teacher in front of students, or so and so and so. Okay, so if I am asking an LKG student who has started his or her academics during the lockdown period, will the student, of course, is attending an online class, isn't it? So if I ask that student, what is your understanding of a teacher, what would he or she say? Yes, Amal.
Ma'am, ma'am, whether for starting student,
Sorry.
ma'am, first when he comes, he'll think his thing will be not as much good.
I'm asking, if I ask that particular student, what is your understanding of a teacher, explain to me the features of a teacher, then how would he or she explain it?
Ma'am, he's very friendly teacher he will think about the mainly her poems that she
Yes, the
uh,
teacher who sings rhymes, who teaches A, B, C, D, all that, isn't it? But
yes, ma'am.
from different from your blackboard and chalks, the teacher will be in front of the camera, in front of the laptop, or in front of the what? In front of their electronic gadget with which they are attending the class. And they don't see the teachers in sari. They don't finally see, most of the teachers won't be wearing the specs with the bun, with the stick or the cane or the scale or book in hand. They'll be having, probably if it's the student from our school, they'll be having this thing in their hand, the stylus in their hand. They'd be using census board, they'll be using EC board, all that, isn't it? So their understanding is different from your understanding. Now if I'm asking to somebody, someone like your grandfather or your grandmother, about their teacher, what is their understanding of their teacher, probably they would say this answer: very strict, with the spectacles on a nose, on their tip of the nose. They have this headmistress headmaster concept, isn't it? Very strict people, then with the cane in one hand to beat when then and there possible, isn't it? So their past experiences have led to such an image of a teacher in their mind, in their memory system. But your experiences have given such another image for, based on a teacher for you. Now, if I go back to the LKG students, they will have a different viewpoint or a different image of a teacher when I ask them. So these are very, very different. So Aishwarya, as I asked you the question, you told about, or you used the word her, isn't it? But who teaches you economics?
Midun sir,
Is that her or him?
him.
Okay, why didn't you, tell that it's a him or her? Or you would have said him or her. Or you would have said him instead of her. Why did you tell her?
Because when you think about a teacher, the female figure appears, right?
Yes, when you think of a fireman, you think of a female or a male?
Okay.
Male, yes. That is because you have a schema in your mind. With your experiences, with your initial experiences, with your past experiences, with anything and everything, you have an imagination or an image or a framework in your mind that this is the thing. And if you suppose if only female teachers have taught a student, then that particular student would not have an image of a male teacher. Since you have got teachings from your male teacher, you know that there are also male teachers existing in this world, isn't it? So again, in the fire force also, there might be women. When you hear of the word pilot, some people might get a viewpoint of a male navigating an aeroplane, isn't it? Similarly, the differences might come. So that is because of something known as schema. Now read that definition once more. Schema refers to an organization of past experiences and knowledge which influence the way in which incoming information is interpreted, stored, and later retrieved. Understood? Earlier, you got experiences with your teacher. That is why you have so much of information added. Again, the first time your male teacher might teach you, that time you might have modified the information, the already set information in your memory system that male teachers also exist. Okay, so you have added to your memory, but you still have an image of a teacher in the form of a female teacher. That is why you told the word, or you use the term her to describe the teacher. Understood? Now, if I ask you to imagine how a cat is there, you would imagine a cat that you have commonly seen, isn't it? Just like that, we have so much of past experiences which influence our memory system, that is known as schema. Okay, I'm 1 minute late. Thank you for waiting. So if you have any doubt, please let me know. That's all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.